Welcome back to Rare Lincoln Penny Coins. Today's story is going to blow your mind. Imagine holding a simple Lincoln penny, a coin so common that millions of people ignore it every single day. Now imagine that same small copper coin being worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sounds unbelievable? Stay with me, because the world of rare Lincoln pennies is full of surprises, history, mystery, and serious money. The Lincoln penny has one of the most iconic designs in American coin history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. Before that, coins showed symbolic figures like Lady Liberty. The obverse shows Abraham Lincoln's profile, and over the years, the reverse design changed from wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, and later to special commemorative designs. Now let's talk about the coin that many collectors are curious about, the 1973 D Lincoln penny. The D mint mark means it was produced at the Denver Mint. In 1973, millions of pennies were struck in Denver. At first glance, this coin might not seem rare at all. It was produced in very large numbers, and most examples in circulated condition are only worth face value, 1 cent. But here's where things get interesting: not all coins are equal. Even in years where millions were minted, rare errors and high-grade specimens can turn an ordinary penny into a valuable collectible. With the 1973 D Lincoln penny, collectors look for specific characteristics: double die errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, repunched mint marks, and coins preserved in extremely high mint state condition. A normal circulated 1973 D penny might be worth 1 to 5 cents. But an uncirculated coin in mint state condition could be worth several dollars. If you find one graded MS65 red or higher, its value increases significantly. Coins graded MS67 red by top grading services can sell for hundreds, sometimes even over $1,000 depending on demand and market conditions. Now let's address something very important. You might see huge numbers online like $787,976.49 attached to rare pennies. These massive prices usually apply to extremely rare error coins or legendary varieties like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die. A regular 1973 D penny has never sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars under normal circumstances. However, if a major mint error was discovered, something extremely rare and dramatic, the value could skyrocket depending on collector interest. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. The difference between 1 cent and thousands of dollars can come down to tiny details invisible to the naked eye. That's why serious collectors use magnifying glasses and microscopes to examine their coins carefully. The Lincoln Penny series is filled with famous rarities. The 1909 SVDB, with its low mintage and designer initials on the reverse, is highly valuable. The 1914 D is another key date worth serious money in good condition. The 1922 No D penny is famous because the mint mark is missing due to a worn die. The 1955 double die penny shows dramatic doubling in the lettering and is one of the most well-known error coins in U.S. history. Compared to those legendary coins, the 1973 D is not considered a key date. However, high-grade examples and rare mint errors always attract attention. The coin market is driven by condition, rarity, demand, and historical importance. The 1973 D penny was made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was before the major composition change in 1982 when pennies switched to mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. Because it contains more copper, some people even save pre-1982 pennies for their metal content. Although melting them for profit is illegal in the United States, collectors also look for proof coins from 1973, which were specially made for collectors with a mirror-like finish. Proof coins were struck in San Francisco and carry the S mint mark. These are different from the Denver coins, but sometimes confusion in listings can cause misinformation online. The coin market today is stronger than ever. Online auctions, grading services, and global collectors have made it easier to buy and sell rare coins. Prices change depending on market demand, economic conditions, and collector interest. When a rare high-grade example appears at auction, competitive bidding can drive prices much higher than expected. If you are searching your change for a valuable 1973 D penny, here is what you should look for. Check for strong red color with no brown toning if you want high-grade value. Look closely at the date and mint mark for doubling. Examine the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust for any unusual thickness or shadowing. Check if the coin is off-center or has striking errors. Even small differences can mean big money in the right situation. Condition is everything. A coin that has been heavily circulated, scratched, or cleaned loses most of its collector value. Never clean a coin. Cleaning can reduce its value dramatically. Serious collectors prefer original surfaces, even if they show light toning. The story of the Lincoln penny is more than just money. It is a story of American history. From the Great Depression to World War II, from the Civil Rights Movement to modern times, this small coin has passed through billions of hands. Each penny carries a piece of history. Some collectors specialize only in Lincoln cents. They build full date and mint mark sets, chasing every year from 1909 to the present. Others focus only on high-grade red coins. Some hunt only for errors. This variety keeps the hobby alive and exciting. Now imagine the possibility. Somewhere in circulation, in a jar, in a drawer, in an old piggy bank, there might be a rare coin waiting to be discovered. Most people overlook pennies. They toss them aside without thinking. But collectors know better. Every coin deserves a second look. If you want to get serious about collecting, invest in a good magnifier, learn grading basics, and study price guides. Knowledge is power in the coin market. The more you understand minting processes and error types, the better your chances of spotting something special. The 1973 D Lincoln penny may not be one of the most famous rare coins, but in perfect condition or with rare errors, it can still hold surprising value. And remember, today's common coin could become tomorrow's collectible if demand changes. Coin collecting is not just about profit. It is about history, discovery, patience, and passion. The thrill of finding something valuable in everyday change is unmatched. Even if you never find a six-figure penny, the journey itself is rewarding. So before you ignore that small copper coin, take a closer look. Check the date. Check the mint mark. Check the condition. Because in the world of rare Lincoln pennies, small details can make a big difference. This is Coins, your home for rare coin stories, hidden treasures, and market updates. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rare Lincoln penny and the 1973 D value and history, stay tuned for more incredible coin discoveries. The next valuable treasure could already be in your pocket. Today we are talking about the legendary rare Lincoln penny, especially the fascinating 1973 issue, its history, its secrets, and its current market value. Welcome to the world of rare coins, and welcome to Coins. The Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic coins ever produced in the United States. It was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. This was a historic moment because it was the first time a real person appeared on a regular United States circulating coin. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and his portrait of Lincoln is still used today, more than a century later. That alone shows how powerful and respected this coin design truly is. The 1973 Lincoln penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. On the front, you see the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln with the words "In God We Trust" above, Liberty to the left, and the date 1973 to the right. On the back, instead of wheat stalks like older pennies, you see the Lincoln Memorial Building. If you look closely at some coins, you can even see a tiny image of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. That level of detail is amazing for such a small coin. In 1973, millions of pennies were minted. The main mint was Philadelphia, and there were also coins produced in Denver with a D mint mark, and in San Francisco with an S mint mark, mainly for proof coins. Because so many were made, most 1973 Lincoln pennies are common and only worth face value. But here is where things get exciting. Not all coins are equal. Some rare varieties, mint errors, and high-grade examples can be worth a lot of money. The value of a 1973 Lincoln penny depends on condition, rarity, and special characteristics. A regular circulated 1973 penny might be worth just 1 cent. But an uncirculated coin in mint state condition can be worth several dollars. Now imagine a coin graded at the highest levels, such as MS 67 or higher by professional grading services. These top-condition coins can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Proof coins from San Francisco are also interesting. A 1973 S-proof penny, especially in deep cameo condition, can be highly collectible. Deep cameo refers to the strong contrast between the frosted design and the mirror-like background. Collectors love this sharp contrast. High-quality proof coins can command significant prices in the collector market. Now let's talk about mint errors. Mint errors are one of the biggest reasons a coin can become extremely valuable. In 1973, some pennies were struck with double dies, off-center strikes, or other unusual production mistakes. A double die means that the design was imprinted twice slightly off alignment, creating a visible doubling effect on letters or numbers. These types of errors can dramatically increase the coin's value. There are also rare cases where coins are struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the blank metal piece used for a different denomination was accidentally used for a penny. These error coins are rare and can sell for very high amounts depending on the error type and condition. Now let's talk about the market. The coin market changes constantly. Prices depend on demand, condition, grading, and auction competition. As of recent years, high-grade 1973 Lincoln pennies have sold for hundreds or even over $1,000 in top condition. Error coins have sold for even more. While most 1973 pennies will never reach extreme values, certain rare examples can absolutely surprise you. You may have heard crazy numbers like $787,976.48 associated with rare pennies. While that exact number is unusual and very specific, there have been rare Lincoln cents from other years that sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. For example, some extremely rare varieties from earlier decades have reached astonishing auction results. The key lesson here is that rarity, condition, and demand together create massive value. If you are searching for a valuable 1973 Lincoln penny, here is what to look for. First, check the mint mark under the date. No mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. A D means Denver. An S means San Francisco. Second, examine the coin closely under magnification. Look for doubling on the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust. Third, check the overall condition. Is the coin shiny, with no wear on Lincoln's cheek or jaw? Are the edges sharp and clean? The better the condition, the higher the potential value. Another important factor is grading. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC authenticate and grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the number, the better the condition. A small difference in grade can mean a huge difference in value. For example, a coin graded MS 65 might be worth a few dollars, while the same coin graded MS 67 could be worth hundreds. The history behind the Lincoln penny also adds emotional value. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most respected presidents in American history. His leadership during the Civil War and his role in ending slavery make him a powerful symbol. Owning a coin with his image connects collectors to a piece of American history. Many people have found valuable coins in old jars, piggy banks, and inherited collections. That is why coin collecting is so exciting. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. The 1973 Lincoln penny might seem ordinary, but under the right circumstances, it can be worth much more than 1 cent. The copper composition of the 1973 penny is another interesting detail. These coins were made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Later pennies switched to mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. Because of the higher copper content, some collectors even value older pennies for their metal content. Although melting coins is restricted by law, the coin market today is stronger than ever, with online auctions, collector forums, and international buyers increasing demand. Rare Lincoln pennies continue to attract attention, especially high-grade and error examples. Prices can rise when collectors compete aggressively for top-quality coins. If you are serious about finding a rare and valuable 1973 Lincoln penny, patience and knowledge are your best tools. Study real examples, compare images, and consider professional grading if you believe you have something special. Even if your coin is not worth thousands, the thrill of the hunt is priceless. Remember, most 1973 Lincoln pennies are common, but the rare exceptions are what make this hobby exciting. One tiny difference in strike, condition, or error can transform a simple 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. So before you spend that penny in your pocket, take a closer look. That small copper coin could carry history, mystery, and maybe even serious value. The world of rare coins is full of surprises, and the Lincoln penny continues to be one of the most loved and collected coins in history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rare Lincoln penny 1973 and its current market value, make sure you stay connected with Coins for more incredible stories about rare and valuable coins. Your next big discovery might be closer than you think. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and searched coins in the world of American numismatics, the rare Lincoln penny, with special focus on the 1976 Lincoln cent, its history, mystery, and the truth about its current market value. The Lincoln penny is one of the most famous coins ever produced in the United States. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, this coin became the first regular U.S. coin to feature a real historical person instead of symbolic figures. It was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB can be found on certain early issues that are now extremely valuable. The Lincoln cent has gone through several reverse design changes over the years. From 1909 to 1958 it featured 2 wheat stalks, which is why those coins are called wheat pennies. In 1959, to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday, the reverse was changed to show the Lincoln Memorial. This design continued until 2008, and the 1976 penny belongs to this Lincoln Memorial series. Now let us focus on the 1976 Lincoln penny. The D mint mark means the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1976, the United States was celebrating its bicentennial, marking 200 years of independence since 1776. While quarters, half dollars, and dollars received special bicentennial reverse designs that year, the Lincoln cent did not receive a special commemorative design. It continued with the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Millions and millions of 1976 pennies were produced. In fact, over 4.2 billion were minted in Denver alone. Because of this extremely high mintage, most 1976 Lincoln pennies are very common in circulated condition. If you find one in your pocket change today, it is usually worth only 1 cent. But here is where things become interesting. While regular circulated examples are common, certain 1976 Lincoln pennies can be worth significantly more under specific conditions. High-grade uncirculated coins, especially those graded MS-66 or higher by professional grading companies, can sell for strong premiums. Coins with bright red original luster, no scratches, and perfect surfaces are rare because most pennies from that era were heavily used. Errors and varieties are where collectors get excited. Some 1976 pennies have die errors such as double die obverse, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or broad strikes. These mint errors can increase the value dramatically depending on severity and eye appeal. For example, a dramatic off-center 1976 penny in uncirculated condition could sell for hundreds of dollars. A strong double die variety can also command significant premiums among collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents. Now let us address the big number mentioned, $787,976.47. Is a 1976 Lincoln penny worth nearly $800,000? In normal circumstances, absolutely not. There has never been a verified public sale of a standard 1976 Lincoln cent reaching anywhere near that price. However, in the coin world, extreme rarity combined with unique errors can produce shocking auction results. For example, rare Lincoln cents like the 1943 bronze cent or the 1909 SVDB penny have sold for hundreds of thousands or even over $1 million at major auctions. But those are historically rare mint mistakes or low mintage key dates, not regular 1976D issues. The truth about the 1976D penny market value today is this: circulated condition value, face value, 1 cent uncirculated red examples, typically a few cents to a few dollars, high-grade certified examples MS65 to MS67, anywhere from $10 up to $150 or more depending on quality, major error coins, potentially hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the uniqueness and demand. The coin's composition is also important. In 1976, Lincoln cents were made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, with a weight of 3.11 grams. Rising copper prices sometimes make people wonder if the metal value alone makes these coins rare. While copper has value, it does not push a 1976D penny anywhere near hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collector's value: condition, rarity, demand, and historical significance. The 1976D penny represents the bicentennial era of American history, a time of national celebration. While it does not have a special reverse design, it connects directly to that patriotic moment. If you are searching through rolls of pennies looking for a treasure, here is what to check carefully: look at the mint mark under the date, examine the lettering for doubling, check the rim for off-center strikes, inspect the surface for unusual texture or missing clad layers, weigh the coin to ensure correct composition. Look for strong original red color in uncirculated examples, sometimes the most valuable coins are not the rarest by mintage, but the rarest by condition. Finding a perfectly preserved 1976D penny with blazing red luster and no contact marks is extremely difficult because billions were produced and heavily circulated. The Lincoln Penny series overall is one of the most widely collected coin series in the world. From early wheat cents to modern shield cents, collectors build complete date and mint mark sets. Key dates such as 1909 SVDB, 1914 D, 1922 No D, and 1955 Double Die have achieved legendary status in the hobby. The 1976D penny may not be a key date, but it still holds interest. Many new collectors begin with coins from the 1970s because they are affordable and easy to find. Over time, they learn about grading, mint errors, and variety hunting. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC authenticate and assign grades to coins, dramatically affecting value. A single point difference in grade at high levels can mean a huge price difference. The coin market is constantly changing. Prices depend on collector demand, auction activity, metal markets, and overall economic conditions. While stories sometimes circulate online about common pennies being worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, serious collectors always verify information through reliable auction records and certified sales. So what is the real takeaway? The 1976D Lincoln penny is usually common. But under the right conditions, exceptional grade or major mint error, it can be worth far more than face value. It is not a $787,976.47 coin in standard form, but coin collecting is full of surprises. That is what makes it exciting. Every coin tells a story. The Lincoln penny tells the story of American history, from the presidency of Abraham Lincoln to the bicentennial celebration of 1976. It represents continuity, tradition, and the everyday exchange of commerce. Before you spend your next penny, take a closer look. Check the date. Check the mint mark. Examine the details. You never know when you might discover something special hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rare Lincoln penny and the 1976D current market value discussion, make sure to subscribe to Coins, like this video, and share it with fellow collectors. Drop a comment below if you have found any rare Lincoln cents in your collection. The world of coins is waiting for you, and your next valuable discovery could be just 1 cent away. Today we are talking about the rare 1978 Lincoln penny, its history, mint marks, errors, and its real current market value. Welcome to the channel Coins. The Lincoln penny is one of the most famous coins in United States history. It was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. That was the first time a real person appeared on a regular circulating U.S. coin. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and the front of the coin shows the portrait of Abraham Lincoln. For many decades, the back side featured 2 wheat ears, which is why early versions are called wheat pennies. Later, in 1959, the reverse design changed to the Lincoln Memorial. By 1978, the coin was already part of everyday American life. Millions of these pennies were used in daily transactions. But here is the interesting part: even though billions were minted, some rare examples from 1978 can be worth a lot of money today. In 1978, Lincoln pennies were minted at 3 major facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia usually have no mint mark. Coins from Denver have a small d mint mark under the year. San Francisco coins have an S mint mark and were mainly produced as proof coins for collectors. The total mintage in 1978 was very high. Philadelphia produced over 5 billion coins. Denver produced over 4 billion coins. San Francisco produced proof coins in much smaller numbers compared to circulation coins. Because of such high production, most 1978 pennies are only worth face value today. But condition and errors change everything. The 1978 Lincoln penny is made mostly of copper. It contains 95% copper and 5% zinc. The weight is about 3.11 grams. The diameter is 19 millimeters. Its reddish copper color is one of the reasons collectors love older pennies. Now let us talk about condition. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A 1978 penny that is heavily circulated, scratched, and faded is usually worth only 1 cent. But if you find a 1978 penny in uncirculated condition, meaning it was never used in daily transactions, it can be worth much more. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state 70. Mint state 65 or higher coins with strong red color are highly desirable. A 1978 penny graded MS67 red can sell for hundreds of dollars. If the coin is graded MS68 red, it can reach thousands of dollars because such high-grade examples are extremely rare. Now here is where things become exciting. Errors. Error coins are mistakes made during the minting process. These mistakes make coins rare and valuable. Some 1978 Lincoln pennies have double die errors. A double die occurs when the coin design is impressed twice slightly misaligned, causing letters or numbers to look doubled. If you find clear doubling on the date or the word Liberty, that coin can be worth a significant premium. Off-center strikes are another valuable error. If the coin design is not properly centered, part of the image may be missing. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable it can be, especially if the date is still visible. There are also repunched mint marks, where the mint mark was stamped more than once in slightly different positions. A 1978 D penny with a visible repunched mint mark can attract collectors and sell for more than regular coins. Proof coins from San Francisco are another interesting category. A 1978 S proof penny with deep cameo contrast, meaning a frosted design and mirror-like background, can sell for much higher prices than circulation coins. In perfect proof 70 condition, these coins can reach impressive values in auctions. Now let us talk about current market value. In today's coin market, a regular circulated 1978 penny is worth 1 cent. An uncirculated red example may sell for $1 to $5 depending on quality. A high-grade MS67 red coin can range from $100 to $300. Extremely rare MS68 examples have sold for thousands of dollars in competitive auctions. Error coins can range from $20 for minor errors to several hundred or even thousands for dramatic and rare examples. However, claims of a 1978 Lincoln penny being worth $787,976.46 are extremely unrealistic in the current verified market. No authenticated 1978 penny has reached such a price in official auction records. It is very important for collectors to verify information and rely on professional grading services. The coin market changes over time. Prices depend on supply, demand, condition, and collector interest. High-grade coins certified by major grading companies often achieve the highest prices. If you believe you have a rare 1978 penny, it is best to have it examined by a professional coin grading service before selling. One important factor is color. Copper coins are categorized as brown, and red. Red coins with original mint luster are the most valuable. Once a coin turns fully brown from oxidation, its value usually decreases. Storage is also critical. Keeping coins in a dry, cool environment and using protective holders can preserve their condition and value. Never clean your coins. Cleaning can damage the surface and reduce value significantly. The history of the Lincoln penny continues to evolve. After 1982, the composition changed from mostly copper to mostly zinc due to rising copper prices. That makes pre-1982 copper pennies like the 1978 version slightly more interesting to collectors because of their higher copper content. Many collectors search through bank rolls looking for high-grade or error coins. Sometimes treasures are found in ordinary change. That excitement is what makes coin collecting so fascinating. The 1978 Lincoln penny may not be rare in general numbers, but in exceptional condition or with unique mint errors, it can be worth far more than 1 cent. The key is knowledge, patience, and careful inspection. So next time you see a small copper penny dated 1978, do not ignore it. Look closely at the mint mark. Check the condition. Search for doubling. Examine the edges. You might just be holding a hidden treasure. If you enjoy learning about rare coins, hidden errors, and real market values, make sure to follow the channel Coins for more deep research, honest market analysis, and exciting discoveries from the world of numismatics. Today you are going to be absolutely amazed. Because we are diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in American history, the legendary rare Lincoln penny, especially the famous 1982 small date copper variation that collectors dream about. Welcome back to Coins. Imagine holding a simple 1-cent coin in your hand. A coin so common that people throw it into jars, leave it in cars, drop it on the street, or ignore it completely. Now imagine that same coin being worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sounds unbelievable, right? But in the world of rare coins, the impossible becomes possible. The story begins with the iconic Lincoln cent. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, this coin became the first U.S. circulating coin to feature a real historical person. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent replaced the Indian head cent and started a new era in American coinage. For decades, the Lincoln cent was made primarily of 95% copper. It had weight, richness in color, and that classic reddish shine collectors love. But by the early 1980s, copper prices were rising sharply. The United States government faced a serious problem. The metal inside the penny was becoming more valuable than the coin's face value. In 1982, everything changed. That year was one of the most confusing and fascinating years in penny history. Why? Because 1982 pennies were produced in multiple variations. Large date, small date. Copper composition. Zinc composition. Philadelphia mint. Denver mint. And among all these variations, one coin stands out as a modern legend, the 1982 D small date copper penny. The D mint mark represents the United States Mint facility in Denver. In 1982, the mint officially switched from the traditional 95% copper composition to a new zinc core with a thin copper plating. The new zinc pennies weigh about 2.5 grams, while the older copper ones weigh about 3.11 grams. Here is where the mystery begins. According to official records, the Denver Mint was not supposed to produce any small-date copper pennies in 1982. Only large-date copper versions were expected from Denver. But in 2016, a collector made a shocking discovery. He found a 1982 D penny with a small-date design that weighed 3.11 grams, meaning it was copper. This was not supposed to exist. Experts verified it. Professional grading services confirmed it. The coin was authenticated as genuine. And suddenly, a modern rarity was born. Collectors went crazy, because when a coin officially should not exist, but does, its value can skyrocket. This 1982 D small-date copper penny became one of the rarest modern Lincoln cents ever discovered. So what is it worth? Values depend heavily on condition. Coin grading ranges from circulated condition to mint state grades like MS63, MS65, and higher. The better the condition, the higher the price. The known example of the 1982D small date copper penny has been valued at extraordinary levels. Some experts have estimated values reaching into six figures. Rumors online sometimes exaggerate numbers into the hundreds of thousands or even claim figures like $787,976.44, but realistic auction estimates depend on certification, demand, and market timing. Even so, the coin is considered worth a lot of money compared to 1 cent, and here is the exciting part: there may be more out there. Because millions and millions of 1982 pennies were struck, many people believe that undiscovered examples could still be sitting in jars, drawers, piggy banks, or inherited collections. That possibility keeps collectors searching every single day. If you want to check your own 1982D penny, here is what to do. First, look for the D mint mark under the date. Second, examine whether it is a small date variety. The small date has a more delicate appearance, with the 2 in 1982 having a curved base and the digits appearing thinner. Third, weigh the coin using a precise digital scale. If it weighs around 3.11 grams, it may be copper. If it weighs 2.5 grams, it is zinc, but be careful: damage, corrosion, or plating bubbles can affect weight slightly. Always use an accurate scale. And if you believe you found something special, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy value instantly. Instead, send it to a reputable grading service for authentication. The history of the Lincoln penny itself adds to the excitement. Over the decades, there have been many famous rarities. The 1909 SVDB, the 1914D, the 1922 No-D, the 1955 double die. Each of these coins tells a story of minting errors, low production numbers, or historical transitions, but the 1982D small date copper penny is different. It represents a transition year mistake during a metal composition change. Transition errors are among the most valuable coins in American numismatics. When mints change metal, design, or composition, leftover planchets from previous runs sometimes get accidentally used. These mistakes can create extremely rare coins. Collectors love transition errors because they combine history, rarity, and mystery, and the market for rare coins continues to grow. As more people learn about coin collecting through online videos, auctions, and social media, demand increases. When demand increases and supply remains extremely limited, prices rise. However, it is important to understand that not every 1982 penny is valuable. In fact, most are only worth 1 cent or slightly more in uncirculated condition. The rare value applies specifically to the unusual copper small date version from Denver. The coin market is driven by rarity, condition, authentication, and collector interest. Without all four factors, prices do not reach extreme levels. So when you hear stories about pennies worth nearly $800,000, always verify the details. Check auction records. Check grading certification numbers. Research trusted sources. Knowledge protects collectors from scams and false claims. Still, the possibility remains thrilling. Somewhere in America, maybe even outside America, in an old collection, there could be another undiscovered 1982D small date copper penny waiting to be found. That is why coin roll hunting has become so popular. People go to banks, get rolls of pennies, and search through them carefully. They look for mint marks. They check dates. They weigh coins. They study details under magnification, because sometimes, treasure hides in plain sight. The Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It is a piece of American history. It survived world wars, economic crises, metal shortages, and design changes. It remains one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, from wheat ears on the reverse from 1909 to 1958, to the Lincoln Memorial from 1959 to 2008, to the Union Shield design introduced in 2010, the penny continues evolving, and yet, its smallest details can make the biggest difference. One tiny change in font size. One leftover copper blank. One minting decision during a year of transition. That is all it takes to create a legend. For collectors watching this, here is your reminder. Always check your change. Never ignore a penny. Learn the key dates. Invest in a good scale and magnifying glass. Study mint varieties. And most importantly, enjoy the hunt, because coin collecting is not just about money. It is about discovery, history, patience, and the excitement of holding something rare in your hands. The 1982 small date copper penny proves that even in modern times, incredible rarities can still surface. You do not need to search ancient shipwrecks or buried treasure chests. Sometimes treasure is hiding in your pocket. If you found a penny worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, what would you do? Would you sell it at auction? Keep it as an investment? Display it in your collection? Let us know your thoughts. This is Coins, bringing you the stories behind the rarest and most valuable coins in the world. Keep searching. Keep learning. And remember, the next life-changing discovery could be just 1 cent away. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in American history, a coin that millions of people have touched, spent, saved, and sometimes ignored without realizing that it could be worth a fortune. We are talking about the legendary rare Lincoln penny, especially the mysterious and highly searched 1982 Lincoln cent. This small copper coin has created massive excitement in the coin collecting world, and some rare versions have sold for shocking prices. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first regular circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical person instead of a symbolic image. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it quickly became one of the most recognized coins in the world. On the front, you see the profile of Abraham Lincoln. On the back, early versions featured wheat stalks, later replaced by the Lincoln Memorial, and in 2010 the design changed again to the Union Shield. Over the decades, billions of Lincoln pennies were minted, but not all pennies are equal. Some have minting errors. Some were produced in limited numbers. Some were made during transition years when the metal composition changed. And that is where the 1982 penny becomes extremely important. The year 1982 was a historic year for the Lincoln cent because the United States Mint changed the metal composition of the penny. Before 1982, pennies were mostly made of 95% copper. But due to rising copper prices, the mint switched to a zinc core with a thin copper coating. This created different varieties in the same year. In fact, there are 8 different 1982 Lincoln cent varieties when you consider mint marks, metal composition, and small date versus large date designs. The 1982 penny from the Denver Mint is especially interesting. Most 1982 pennies were struck in the new zinc composition and have a large date style. However, collectors have searched for a rare 1982 small date copper version. If such a coin exists and is confirmed, it could be worth an incredible amount of money because it would be a transitional error coin. To understand value, you must first understand composition. A copper 1982 penny weighs about 3.11 grams. A zinc 1982 penny weighs about 2.5 grams. If you have a precise digital scale, you can check the weight of your coin. This small difference can mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. In normal circulated condition, a regular 1982 zinc penny is worth face value. Maybe 2 or 3 cents in bulk. But in uncirculated condition with strong luster and no marks, it could sell for a few dollars. In high mint state grades such as MS65 or higher, certified by professional grading companies, it could reach $20 to $50 depending on market demand. Now let's talk about the dream scenario. If a confirmed 1982 small date copper penny were discovered and authenticated by major grading services, it could be worth an extraordinary amount. Rare transitional error coins in American history have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. While claims of $787,976.44 for a 1982 penny are not supported by verified auction records, extremely rare error pennies from other years have crossed 6 figures in major auctions. For example, the famous 1943 bronze Lincoln cent, which was mistakenly struck in bronze instead of steel during World War II, has sold for over $1 million in top condition. The 1955 double-die Lincoln cent is another legendary error that can sell for thousands to tens of thousands depending on grade. These examples show that rare pennies can truly change lives. The current market for rare Lincoln pennies depends on several factors. Condition is everything. Coins graded by respected services such as PCGS or NGC usually sell for higher prices because buyers trust the authentication and grade. Demand also plays a big role. When collectors become excited about a certain variety, prices can rise quickly. Auction results from major houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers often set the benchmark for market value. If you are searching for valuable 1982D pennies, here are the key steps. First, separate your 1982 pennies by mint mark. Look for the small d under the year, which indicates the Denver Mint. Second, examine the date style carefully. The small date has thinner numbers and the 2 has a delicate curve, while the large date has thicker numbers and a more noticeable shape. Third, weigh the coin precisely. If it weighs around 3.11 grams and shows a small date with a D mint mark, that coin needs professional evaluation immediately. History has shown that transition years are always important in coin collecting. Whenever the U.S. Mint changes metal composition, design, or production process, mistakes can happen. Collectors call these transitional errors, and they are some of the most valuable coins in the hobby. The Lincoln Cent series itself is one of the longest-running coin series in American history. It survived 2 world wars, the Great Depression, metal shortages, and design changes. From the original wheat reverse in 1909, to the steel cents of 1943, to the memorial reverse introduced in 1959, and finally to the shield design in 2010, the Lincoln penny tells the story of American history in metal form. Many people underestimate the power of small coins. They sit in jars, drawers, piggy banks, and old boxes. But hidden inside those collections could be rare varieties worth serious money. That is why coin roll hunting has become so popular. People buy rolls of pennies from banks and search through them hoping to find rare dates, mint errors, or high-grade examples. If you are serious about collecting, invest in a magnifying glass, a digital scale, and proper coin holders. Never clean your coins. Cleaning can destroy value instantly. Even a rare coin can lose most of its worth if it is cleaned improperly. The market today remains strong for rare Lincoln cents. High-grade examples of key dates continue to attract competitive bidding. While most 1982D pennies are common, the excitement around the possibility of rare varieties keeps collectors searching. The value of a coin always depends on rarity, demand, authenticity, and condition. Imagine finding a small copper penny in your change that could pay off debts, fund a business, or transform your financial future. It sounds unbelievable, but history proves it has happened before. That is the magic of coin collecting. Every coin has a story. Every year has a secret. Every mint mark has a mystery. The 1982D Lincoln penny stands at the crossroads of history and modern minting technology. It represents the end of the copper era and the beginning of zinc production. It represents a transition that created confusion, excitement, and opportunity. So next time you receive change, slow down. Look carefully. Check the date. Check the mint mark. Weigh the coin. Study the details. Because the next rare Lincoln penny could be in your pocket right now. This is Coins, bringing you the hidden stories, real history, and powerful potential behind everyday money. Stay curious, stay searching, and never underestimate the value of one small cent. Today we are diving deep into one of the most exciting and talked about coins in American history, the rare 1983 Lincoln penny. This small copper-colored coin may look ordinary, but in some cases it has shocked collectors by selling for incredible prices. And when we talk about rare error coins and high-grade examples, the value can rise dramatically, sometimes reaching astonishing figures that collectors dream about. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and it was the first regular circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. On the front of the coin you see the profile of Abraham Lincoln with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date. On the back of the 1983 version, you will find the Lincoln Memorial, which was introduced in 1959 and remained until 2008 before being replaced by the Union Shield design. Now let us focus on the year 1983. This year is extremely important in Lincoln cent history because of a major composition change. From 1909 to early 1982, most Lincoln cents were made primarily of copper. But due to rising copper prices, the United States Mint changed the composition in 1982 to a zinc core with a thin copper plating. By 1983, pennies were supposed to be made only of zinc with copper plating. However, in the world of coin collecting, mistakes happen. And when they do, they create legends. The most famous and valuable 1983 Lincoln penny is the 1983 copper penny error. Because pennies were supposed to be zinc in 1983, any coin struck on a leftover copper planchet from 1982 is considered a major mint error. These rare copper 1983 pennies are extremely scarce. Only a few examples have ever been discovered and authenticated. When one of these rare coins appears at auction, collectors compete fiercely. Some have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and high-grade authenticated examples can command massive premiums depending on condition and demand. Another highly valuable variety is the 1983 double die reverse. This is a dramatic error where the reverse design shows clear doubling in the lettering, especially in the words 1 cent and United States of America. The doubling is strong and visible even without magnification if you look carefully. The 1983 double die reverse penny is one of the most famous modern error coins in U.S. history. In circulated condition it can sell for hundreds of dollars. In uncirculated high-grade condition, especially graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, the value can reach thousands of dollars. Condition is everything in coin collecting. A regular 1983 Lincoln penny in circulated condition is usually worth face value. Even in uncirculated condition, common zinc examples might only be worth a few dollars. But when you combine rarity, mint error, and top condition, prices can skyrocket. Collectors pay premium prices for coins graded MS65, MS66, MS67, or higher. The higher the grade, the fewer examples exist, and the stronger the competition among buyers. Now imagine discovering that your ordinary-looking 1983 penny weighs 3.1 grams instead of 2.5 grams. That weight difference could indicate a rare copper planchet error. Using a precise digital scale is one of the first steps collectors take when searching for valuable 1983 pennies. A zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams, while a copper penny weighs about 3.1 grams. This simple test has helped lucky individuals discover coins worth life-changing money. Over the years, rare Lincoln cents have broken records at major auctions conducted by companies such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers. While not every 1983 penny is worth a fortune, authenticated rare varieties have achieved impressive sale prices. Stories of rare pennies selling for huge amounts create excitement in the coin collecting community and inspire treasure hunters to search their change carefully. The popularity of the Lincoln cent series remains strong because it connects history, art, and the thrill of discovery. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most respected presidents in American history, and his image on the penny gives the coin emotional and historical value beyond its metal content. The 1983 issues represent a transitional period in U.S. coinage, which makes them even more interesting to collectors. If you are searching for a valuable 1983 Lincoln penny, here is what to look for. First, check the weight. Second, inspect the reverse lettering for doubling. Third, examine the overall condition. Sharp details, strong luster, and minimal marks increase value dramatically. Finally, if you suspect you have a rare variety, consider sending it to a professional grading service for authentication. The current market for rare Lincoln pennies depends heavily on rarity, grade, and demand. Common 1983 zinc pennies are worth 1 cent. Nice uncirculated examples may sell for a few dollars. The 1983 double die reverse can range from hundreds to several $1,000s depending on condition. The extremely rare 1983 copper-era pennies have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction, and in exceptional cases could bring even more if market demand is strong. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is about history, patience, and the excitement of discovery. Every coin tells a story. The 1983 Lincoln penny tells the story of change, transition, and rare mistakes that turned an ordinary coin into a potential treasure. Somewhere out there, in a forgotten jar or hidden collection, another rare example could still be waiting to be found. So before you ignore that small brown penny in your pocket, take a closer look. Weigh it. Examine it. Study it carefully. Because in the fascinating world of rare coins, even 1 cent can be worth a fortune. This is your channel Coins, bringing you deep insights into rare coins, hidden treasures, and the real market values that collectors need to know. Stay tuned, stay curious, and always check your change. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1991 Lincoln penny, its history, its current market value, and how an ordinary-looking 1-cent coin could be worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on condition and rare errors. This is Coins, your ultimate destination for powerful coin stories, rare discoveries, and real market values that can turn pocket change into serious cash. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first United States coin to feature a real historical person. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and since its release, the Lincoln cent has gone through several design changes on the reverse side while Lincoln's portrait remained on the front. From 1909 to 1958, the reverse featured 2 wheat ears, making those coins known as wheat pennies. In 1959, the reverse changed to the Lincoln Memorial design, which continued until 2008. The 1991 Lincoln penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial series, and at first glance, it may look completely normal. But in the world of coin collecting, normal can hide extraordinary value. Most 1991 Lincoln pennies were made from a copper-plated zinc composition. The United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of them in Philadelphia and Denver. Because of this high mintage, the regular 1991 penny in circulated condition is generally worth face value, meaning 1 cent. But here is where things get interesting. Condition, mint errors, and grading change everything. A 1991 Lincoln penny in uncirculated condition, meaning it has never been used in everyday transactions and still has its original mint luster, can be worth significantly more than 1-cent coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC with high mint state grades such as MS65, MS66, or higher can sell for strong premiums. The higher the grade, the fewer the coins available in that condition, and rarity in top condition drives prices upward. Now let us talk about rare errors because this is where serious money enters the picture. Some 1991 Lincoln pennies have been discovered with double die errors. A double die happens when the coin die receives a misaligned impression during the manufacturing process, creating a visible doubling effect on letters or numbers. Collectors search closely for doubling in the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust." A strong double die 1991 penny in high grade can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on visibility and demand. Off-center strikes are another valuable error. If the coin was not properly aligned when struck, part of the design may be missing, and blank space will appear on one side. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still showing the date, the more valuable the coin becomes. Clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing due to a cutting error during blank production, also attract collectors. There are also cases of broad strikes, die cracks, and even wrong planchet errors where a penny design might be struck on a metal intended for another denomination. These rare mistakes are highly collectible and can command impressive prices in the current market. When discussing market value, we must be realistic and clear. A standard circulated 1991 Lincoln penny is worth 1 cent. A bright uncirculated example may range from a few cents to a few dollars. High-grade certified coins such as MS67 examples have sold for much higher amounts, sometimes reaching into the hundreds of dollars. Rare error coins can exceed that significantly. While it is extremely rare for a 1991 Lincoln penny to reach massive six-figure numbers, exceptional error coins or unique circumstances can push prices very high at auction. The coin market is always changing based on demand, collector interest, grading population, and auction visibility. Serious collectors always check recent auction results to determine accurate current market value. The excitement around rare Lincoln pennies often comes from legendary examples like the 1943 copper cent or the 1909 SVDB penny, which have sold for hundreds of thousands or even over $1 million in top condition. These famous sales inspire collectors to examine every penny they find. That same excitement carries into searching through 1991 pennies for hidden gems. The thrill is not just about money, it is about discovery. Imagine finding a rare double die or a high-grade uncirculated coin sitting unnoticed in a jar of old change. Coin collecting is one of the few hobbies where treasure hunting is real and accessible to everyone. All you need is patience, knowledge, and attention to detail. To determine if your 1991 Lincoln penny is valuable, start by checking the mint mark. Coins from Philadelphia in 1991 typically have no mint mark, while Denver coins display a small d below the date. Examine the coin under good lighting or magnification. Look for sharp details, strong luster, and any unusual features. If you suspect an error or high-grade example, consider professional grading. Certification not only confirms authenticity but also protects the coin in a sealed holder and increases buyer confidence. The history of the Lincoln penny reflects more than 100 years of American culture, economic change, and minting evolution. From the early bronze composition to the modern copper-plated zinc, each era tells a story. The 1991 issue represents a period when billions of pennies were circulating in daily commerce, yet even among common coins, rarity can appear unexpectedly. Market value depends on supply and demand. As more collectors focus on modern coins and registry sets requiring top-graded examples, demand for high-quality 1991 pennies continues to grow. While most examples remain common, the finest known pieces become increasingly scarce. That scarcity supports higher prices at auction. If a coin were to achieve an ultra-rare status due to a unique mint error or extraordinary preservation, it could reach astonishing numbers in competitive bidding environments. The key lesson is that knowledge transforms ordinary change into potential opportunity. Many people overlook pennies, but experienced collectors understand that condition is king and errors create rarity. The difference between 1 cent and thousands of dollars can be as small as a microscopic doubling or a flawless surface free of marks. The 1991 Lincoln penny may not be the rarest coin in American history, but within its category, it offers opportunities for collectors who pay attention. On this channel Coins, we explore real market data, authentic stories, and practical guidance so you can confidently evaluate your own coins. Remember that the coin market rewards patience. Prices fluctuate, new varieties are discovered, and grading populations shift over time. A coin that seems common today could gain popularity tomorrow if collector demand increases. Always store coins properly in protective holders, avoid cleaning them because cleaning reduces value, and educate yourself continuously. The story of the rare Lincoln penny is ultimately a story about potential. From a simple 1-cent coin to a prized collectible, value is determined by rarity, condition, and collector desire. The 1991 Lincoln penny stands as proof that even modern coins deserve attention. So the next time you see a penny dated 1991, do not ignore it. Examine it carefully, appreciate its history, and remember that in the world of coin collecting, small change can sometimes lead to big rewards. Stay connected with Coins for more powerful stories, real valuations, and deep dives into the hidden treasures that may already be in your pocket.